Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
You're looking live right now at a massive, and I do mean massive, gas fire that has broken out in Orion Township.
This is happening on Brown Road between Jocelyn and Baldwin in Orion Township.
Let's get to Rod Maloney, who is live on the scene right now. Rod.
Yes, Devin, it is a spectacular blaze, a gas fire that has made quite an impact on the area around the Great Lakes Crossing Mall, which is across I-75 from the fire. In fact, if you know the area at all, it's on the east side of I-75 behind the mall across from Great Lakes Crossing, which is over, where the Costco is and that group of stores. As you're going north on I-75, it's on the right-hand side. And, of course, we know that the Orion Assembly Plant is just to the other side of that. So the fire is in between those two things, and it is a high-pressure gas main. Now, one of the things that and I've been doing this a long time, Devin, as you know, we've been doing this a long time. You cover these high-pressure gas main leaks, and you hear that very loud roar that comes out of these high-pressure gas lines. Well, I've been doing this a long time, and I have never, ever seen one burn, because normally what happens is there's so much pressure behind that gas that it doesn't burn. It can't burn because there's too much force and too much air pressure. The notion that one of those is actually caught on fire is rather astonishing in and of itself. And I can tell you that this fire, as big as you look at it now, was actually larger earlier in the evening. It seems to have died down a little bit. I was out with my daughter. We were dropping her car off to get an oil change, and we looked up, and the sky was just bright orange, and we weren't certain why. And so we decided, okay, let's follow it to its logical conclusion. Let's figure out what's going on. And then we came up behind Great Lakes Crossing, and for a second it looked like that was what was on fire. But then you get up into the parking lot, and you look across the highway, and there are these just gigantic flames lapping up into the air. And you see this gas fire, and as I'm sure your pictures are showing, you get these giant sort of balls of flame that sort of burn out over time. And, of course, there is fire equipment everywhere in the area. The state police and the local police have all of the roadways near there shut down. In fact, I was trying to get to our live truck, which is over at the Meyer, by the Costco up there, but all of the roads have been shut down. It is absolute bedlam out here with bumper-to-bumper traffic, and police have cordoned off every road going into that area. So it is quite the scene out here, Devin and Karen, with this massive flame and massive fire that is from Consumers Energy, we're told. It is a Consumers Energy main, but they haven't been able to tell us anything more than it's their line. Now, I will tell you that we did come by some construction equipment over by Great Lakes Crossing. Whether that has anything to do with this, we don't know, but I did notice that, and it is in the area. So that's the scene from where I'm sitting right now, Dem.
Rod, stand by. We're going to get back to you in just a minute, but you've set us up perfectly for the next part of our coverage.
That's right. On the phone right now, Deborah Dodd with Consumers Energy. And Deborah, we've got lots of questions, obviously. How did this start? And give us some perspective in terms of where it is, and is there a threat to people in their homes right now?
Rod gave you probably more information than I actually have because he's on site. All I can tell you right now is that we did notice that there was a pressure drop on our natural gas system indicating that there was an issue somewhere. We do have crews on site, but obviously with the amount of the flames, we can't get very near right now. Obviously, our first priority is, to keep the public and our customers safe. And when I do have more information, I can certainly share that with you. But, at this point, I really don't have a lot more information to share.
Well, Deborah, in fact, Rod was talking about the built-up pressure. You seeing a pressure drop would suggest that means the gas was being released, right? It was escaping.
Correct.
Yeah.
We have alarms on our system that would indicate if pressure drops below a certain point, and that's what we noticed earlier tonight. So again, our crews, some crews are there, additional crews are coming, and when I do have more information, I will certainly share it. But obviously, as Rod said, it's best to stay away from that area to let the police and fire and our crews do their work.
Can you give us some perspective, Deborah, just in terms of how long it takes something like this to somewhat get under control for the firefighters to attack it? Because clearly they can't even get near this blaze.
Right. Again, I don't know how we're going to, we may be able to turn some valves and shut the flow of gas off, and that would obviously, give the source of ignition a chance to die out. But at this point, I'm not quite sure how we're going to go about that. We are, as I said, trying to figure that out right now, and when I do have more information, I can certainly share that.
And I hate to ask one more question you may not be able to answer yet, but as near as we can tell, we seem to be watching just gas burning, or is any of this igniting other things around the area, or is it set fire to anything as far as you know?
As far as I know, it appears to be just on our system.
Okay.
But again, I don't know that we can get close enough right now to make a full assessment.
Deborah, really appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to trying to put together the information. Obviously, this is as it's happening. And as Rod told us earlier this evening, he was pretty close by when this happened. You didn't need to be near that close to see it. We've had, the phone's been ringing off the hook in the newsroom. Our email load is full from people seeing this from miles and miles around, including even downtown Detroit, that far north.
You could see it right from downtown, that orange glow, and we knew there was something in the works. Tim, our night cam is near the scene. Oh, you're very close, Tim. Tell us what you're seeing and what you've been experiencing this evening so far.
It is one thing that strikes me right away as I got out of my truck here was the noise. It sounds like 100 jet engines roaring off in the distance there. I'm about a quarter of a mile from where this gas rupture is and this massive fire is. If I zoom in over here for a lay of the land, if you know there's a Checkers hamburger joint right there, which is just next to where this break is. This is the Myers. And then we've got the Target over here, and then beyond that is a Costco. This is on Brown Road between Joslin and Baldwin. As Rod was saying, right near Great Lakes Crossing, just a massive, massive fireball that continues to erupt. You have to forgive me for a second while I change one of the settings on the camera here so we can get back in and see those flames up close. Like I say, the noise is the big thing here. It is absolutely deafening. You might even be having a problem hearing me out here. 75 northbound is at a standstill. I'd show you, but I'm crouched next to a semi-truck. 75 northbound is at a standstill from near the Palace, from near the Lapeer Road exit, as basically people are stopping on the freeway to take a look at this. Again, a massive fireball that continues to erupt and light up the night sky. I was in Troy at the City Hall there, and could actually see the orange glow that I'm hearing reports of it being visible from downtown. Back to you guys.
You're right. We can sort of, now we'll head over to Ben. We'll get back to Tim for a minute because we can hear it there.
Yeah,
it was really
like
loud. Yeah.
You can. And also notice that those flames were not moving straight up. They were moving to the side. We've got southwest winds near Pontiac, which is probably our closest reporting station to where that's at 15 miles an hour. But you also see wind gusts, those periodic bursts of wind that get up to 26 miles an hour. Keep in mind, that's just a few feet above the surface. As you get higher up in the air, we've got data that suggests probably 60-mile-an-hour winds at a couple thousand feet. So these winds are definitely increasing with height, and that is pushing those flames away from the source. And as you heard, even though the firefighters probably can't get close to that right now, if they do try to go in after this, those winds could be causing a significant problem out there tonight, guys.
All right, Ben, and we were talking about what we're getting from viewers and the folks who are seeing this tonight. Here's one of the pictures that came into us very soon after it began.
And to give you some perspective on how big the fire is, take a look from the sky cam shot from downtown Detroit. You can see the orange glow. Look at that.
All the way up in the distance.
That is, you know, some 30-plus miles north, and you can see that glow. This is obviously a breaking story. We'll be following it minute by minute and get more information, hopefully from Consumers Energy. But we will be right back with more.
If you're just joining us, we are still watching a massive fire that is burning in northern Oakland County, not too far from Great Lakes Crossing. Consumers Energy tells us this is indeed one of their gas lines that is ruptured and is giving us basically a volcanic fire here tonight.
Truly it is. This is on a Brown Road between Jocelyn and Baldwin. We've been talking on the phone with consumers. They say they are attempting to see exactly what happened here and at this point have no time frame in terms of when they may be able to shut that gas off that is fueling the fire. And then after that, local fire departments will have to address the issue. So this will be an ongoing situation for quite some time. But right now, we have no reported injuries.
Which is awfully important. And we'll continue to update that throughout this broadcast and, of course, bright and early on Local 4 News today.
A fireball lights up the nighttime sky in Lake Orion as a gas main break has just happened. Let's test it over to the night cam. Tim Pamplin with the very latest on what you're seeing. It looks like things are calming down a little bit.
Quite rightly there. It's a different story from a half hour ago, isn't it, wouldn't you say? Fireballs erupting hundreds of feet into the sky. Well, it sounds like and looks like they've managed to cut the valve, and stop the gas leak. The noise has gone, the flames have gone, it's died down. There's a few little flames back there, might be from auxiliary buildings in that distribution plant, I suspect that is back there. No word on any injuries. We're going to be staying on the scene all night long. Sheriff's deputies came up and said, we'll get you closer in just a few minutes, so we'll have the latest from the scene here on the Local 4 News in the morning. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Brown Road between Jocelyn and Baldwin. Definitely avoid that area. Thank you very much, Tim.